As you can see, I'm a big advocate for keeping your work area organized. As soon as you're done using something, a tool, immediately put it away. And now we're back to the horizontal stabilizer. Okay. So we got this here section all glued up where we left off, and you'll notice that these beams going across here are just slightly higher. So what I'll do is on the back side of this, I'll put a straight edge on the back side of this and reach up underneath and just make a pencil mark all the way across it. And then I'll use that oscillating saw to shave them right off. It's real easy, and you can use it very accurately. Now, one thing on these here blocks, and these are your mounting, forward leading edge side mounting blocks. And notice I've got this extra strip on the side of it, and that's because I'm using a reduced size because of it being commercial white ash, and therefore it's not a full 3/4 of an inch. It's a little bit wider than 3/4 of an inch now, but that's probably good. I go just this side of it. It just seemed a little narrow to me, and you don't want to get to the end of your project and try to line it up and drill your holes, because these are all capped off. You don't see where these are. You have to mark your end pieces, and after you cap it, put that mark on the cap just to make sure you know exactly where they are in there. But you don't want to get to the end and find out that you're drilling your hole and your hole's like right near the edge of the brace you put in there, or the block you put in there. Well, after pulling the clamps off, you can see I found an issue here. It's not a big issue, and actually, because this here will be capped, just like this piece is on that side, it'll be capped on this side. These not touching right there would not be a huge issue, but you do enough things like this on the whole project, and little by little they could add up. Anyways, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my oscillating saw and slice right through there, and get a piece of wood and clean it up good, and then get a piece of wood that fits in just snugly. I can just push it right down in there, and glue that in so that's good and snug before I cap this whole area. Well, I already cut it, but I'll show you right there and right there. Now I'll just get a pick and bend that back and forth, pick it out, come in from the side with something thin, get that dug out. Actually, what I ended up doing is just using my oscillating saw and then turning it a little bit at an angle and cutting across that little piece, and then going the other way, and then just working it around like this and just cleaning it up. And it just took probably 1 minute. Cleaned it up real nice right down. Got it nice and even with the plywood. So now I'll find a block that'll fit in there snugly, sand it up by hand, and glue it up good and slide her on in. So this block of wood that I fitted in, cut and sanded to fit just perfectly, it's just this one little tiny ledge right here that's hitting on this block. There we go. So now that this whole area is sealed up, and actually it isn't, I lied, I just flipped it over to continue the video. Anyway, I'll now take my belt sander, real coarse sandpaper on it, and blend this here back, and I'm going to do a fairly shallow angle, you know, until I bring it down even with the bow, the leading edge bow. And I'm not worried about taking much material off of this very far back or anything, because this here is actually 1/8 inch and it only needs to be 1/16. And there you have it. That's about it right there. So we're nearly done with this horizontal stabilizer, and what I'm going to do now is I'm going to cut off all this excess material on these caps. Since I made my own plywood here, I'm going to trim it and then shape it a little bit, and then I will sand it, bevel it, so that whenever it's fabric, it's a smooth transition onto this. Some people will router down the depth of the plywood and cap it with the plywood. That's a lot of work, and this here was quick and easy, and I just used strips that came off my table saw to do this. This is around 45 thousandths thick, 50 thousandths thick. And one thing I will do is, after I've sanded this, is I will take T88 and do a real light coat over the entire thing, gloss it up, kind of, well, you can see the gloss shining on that one back there. That's where the hinge goes, actually. So, and then this here will be hung up, and we'll start on the elevator, which is the print I've got laying down already.